Someone was looking at the back of his head. Ethan turned around slowly. I'm calling the police. Ethan spoke each word loud and clear. It was a decent plan. An actually decent one. And a sure decent one wasn't funny in any way. And yet, the girl sitting on the window sill was suddenly laughing and covering white teeth beforehand. The girl from the supermarket. The girl from the dream. She was still wearing a light white dress, even though in the morning the temperature dropped to 53 degrees Fahrenheit and it was going to rain. One of the straps fell down to her side, but the girl was in no hurry to put it back on. She swung across the legs later, looking at Ethan from under her brow, with a smile of a child who had hilarious mischief in mind. Did I say something funny? The girl quickly raised her eyes and shrugged slightly, still holding back a smile. Just as before, she did not make a sound. Ethan even assumed she could be mute, but decided to make one last attempt. Just one question, and then he calls the cops. Both really good questions, but considering that we've seen her multiple times in some capacity, we saw the supermarket obviously, but we did see her in a dream. I don't think it's more the fact how she got here, it's the fact who is she to begin with. Because she's just miserable to this extent, she's who is she? The girl's eyes become round and her face turned into a surprised grimace. Overly surprised, Ethan immediately remembered the time when he had hope and came across a couple of street mines. She poked her thin finger to her chest, which made her tense nipples show up for a second under the fabric of her dress.
Me? I am what you were looking for.
She spoke slowly, stretching out her vowels with some kind of delight. A moment later, the girl reached for something behind her back, quickly poured it to her lips and took a sip. Ethan's throat became tight with blood that abruptly rushed to his head. Well, how did you get this? The girl traced Ethan's gesture with a genuinely surprised look, and the next moment she parted her fingers. Hope's huge, colorful cup, the one this got at the store, tinkered hopefully as it struck the floor and it shattered to pieces. Just like that, there was a brief moment the cup was lying peacefully on the floor, even got enough time to hope it would endure the fall. And then firecrackers burst everywhere at once as the furious white light broke out from the inside. But no, that was milk. Just some milk.
You shouldn't have spooked me, you know. Now look at what you've done. The poor cup is so broken. So many eeny-meeny tiny pieces. There's no way to mend it at all.
Ethan was suffocating. What the heck are you doing here? What do you want from me? The girl bit her lip and twisted a fallen shoulder strap between the fingers. The top of the dress slid even
Do
lower.
you want me to leave? But I may run into Hope. Right at the door, Ethan. She forgot her pass and will be here any minute. What will the poor girl think?
The girl looked over her shoulder and her face instantly lit up.
It's her! Here she is! Hope is simply amazing, accurate to a minute. Hello, hello!
The girl turned over to her stomach, leaned on the sill, and waved vigorously to someone invisible, who just completely slid down. That Ethan would bet her tits was flashing white through the window. Why do I feel like this is gonna backfire? Because if I throw her from the window, I'm gonna have to physically grab her. But if I don't come any closer, I don't know. I did make a scene before, so I can see how each choice pans out. But I don't. I really started thinking that dragging her from the window, as she's like probably half naked, probably is not the best way to go. Because if Hope comes in at that exact moment, she's gonna see me touching this girl before it's out. Even though he couldn't see it, but he knew. He felt that hope was really sending it down there. And she was looking at the window. Of course, although she couldn't see much anymore, a blurry veil covered her eyes. The girl slowly turned around and stared at him with her eyes wide open without blinking. Her shoulders shook as if she was going to cry, but she was laughing. At first, there was a couple of stiff laughs. Then it became a laughter of someone who just heard a great joke, and gradually turns into wide bucket screams. He has to stop it, right now. Even wanted to rush to the window, but took one step and forced in place. The girl must be out of her mind. She's stoned, or worse. She might have a syringe, and he doesn't want any more problems. He only wants the thing removed from this window sill, rooted in a steel box and dumped somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic. He had his phone in his hand. Oh, jeez. 911, what's it? That's an emergency. That shrank, hunched, but kept cackling like a piece of coyote zipping on a moonlight night. She was white, red in her laughter, and the pale wax of dry, flabby skin was shaking the rim of her moments, her dress looking like a death shroud. He suddenly thought she was much older than he thought of us. What is going on? Ethan looked at her for the last time, a mixture of hate and disgust in his eyes, and turned away, running his fingers through his hair. There was a stranger in my apartment. A woman, most likely on drugs or just insane. Can you see her right now? Ethan could see only the wall in front of him, but he heard a deafening howl. It was echoing throughout his skull, beating into his temporal bones like a desperate bird. Ethan clenched his teeth. Yes. Does she have a weapon? Maybe. She threatened me. Can you leave the apartment? No. The skunk can escape, and I don't want her to get. Ethan hesitated. I can't hear you, so what is happening? Speak up, I can't hear you. What is happening? Horrifying laughter just kept echoing in Ethan's ears. There was no one behind him. He approached the window slowly as if it was happening in a dream. The charge of Hope's cup crunched under his feet, so before it the window was closed. Ethan opened it and carefully looked down. He did not see the body, too good to be true, but he had to check. Only the gray pavement, which gradually turned black as it actually started raining. Ethan looked across the street just in time to notice a familiar cream-colored coat disappearing behind the corner of the nearby house. Hope? Hope? He screamed so loud that something snapped in his throat, but she didn't hear him. Or maybe she didn't want to hear. Ethan called her at least 100 times. Hope didn't answer. Ethan thought he could come to her office, but Lynch decided it would only make things worse. The police were in his apartment 23 minutes 40 seconds later. That's very specific. They didn't find any signs of forced entry in the call record, asking to find out later, but none that was in but laughter or howling. You're gonna jump scare me, I can tell. No, sing to the sound, that's all I said. Hope returned sometime between late at night and early in the morning. The skin on her cheekbones was taut and almost transparent, and there were deep shadows under her eyes as she had slept in a long time. She smelled of strong alcohol. Ethan went out of the dark room though. He didn't sleep and didn't turn on the light either. Things that looked in the dark, real or imagined, no longer frightened him. He even wished that something he had been dreading for the past month. He finally could name the feeling he had, what came out of the greasy blackness of the shadows of his neck. But everything in his apartment was markedly calm, except for Ethan himself. Hope? Hope stared at him silent, swaying a little. Instead of pupils, she had dark hose. I've been thinking a lot what I would say to you if you came back. What I could say. Hope's face showed no emotion. It seemed like she didn't even blink. Anyway, I realized that I'm going to say it's true, no matter how crazy it sounds. I, if I try to cheat, it only gets worse, right? Ethan gave a short, nervous laugh. Anyway, Ethan had plenty of time to think about what he was going to say, but he still didn't know where to start. Some time ago, I don't remember exactly, I started seeing a girl.
Who is she, Ethan?
I don't know.
Is it Sophie?
Who?
Sophie Wolf? Your student from that online course?
Hope made a vague gesture with her hand. Maybe it's from the late Victoria area. Ethan didn't know why he said that, but Hope obediently repeated in a flat
I
voice.
remember you were impressed with her. You always liked smart girls.
I'm not gonna complain about this because I mean it's free and all that, but like the voice actor was kind of like, I guess she sounded emotionless before this. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, now I don't mind it being English voice acting. I think it works just fine. But compared to the voice acting of the Wyndham chick, it was a lot better. Except I'm not trying to criticize it. I can't voice act at all. But I think this version of Hope, the one that's like emotionless and defeated and tired, I think this is probably the best, like the perfect full voice acting because there's no emotion behind it. You don't have to try to force an emotion in it. It's just flat. I think that what makes this part even better because it sounds completely flat, emotionless, because that's what Hope is right now.
And this one was also beautiful.
Hope, this isn't what you think.
Who says I think? Thinking's too painful.
Wait, hold on. Ethan disappeared into your room and came back a few minutes later. The darkness of the hallway was diluted by the light on the screen. Hope covered her eyes with her hand, either from the brightness of the screen itself or because she didn't want to see whatever there was.
What is it all about?
Here, look. It's Sophie Wolf. On the screen, in fact, was a profile picture of Sophie Wolf, his student. On his photo, Sophie was squinting either from the bright sun or because her curly red hair was getting in her eyes. Her curly red hair, she's like a blonde. A small brown-haired girl snuggled up to her with a shy smile. They were a nice couple. I remember right. They had a wedding this year.
Then who is?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't care. I just want her out of my life, but this follows me. Well, she used to follow, but now I don't think I'll ever see her again.
Is it good or bad?
Hope, please. If you want to leave, I'll understand. But if you want to give me a chance, I promise I'll do my best to mend it all. He couldn't really promise, but he was too eager for the nightmare real or imagined to plan. No more weird stories. Please, Hope. I don't need anyone but you. If you can't get... He couldn't finish because Hope kissed him. Her back hit the floor with her done. The rest of the night actually went fine. Well, even more than that, except for the fact they were too busy getting sleep. Whoa! At least everything was going okay until the moment instead of Hope's face, just for a moment, even saw. He couldn't tell. He muttered something about not feeling well and collapsed on his back, panting. He closed his eyes so that Hope wouldn't actually catch a glimpse of what he saw. Nothing happened. It wasn't well. It's fine, she understood, said Hope. Ethan sat in front of his laptop staring at his monitor. A concave mess of pushing catch stared back at him. All that was required of Ethan, he had to call the cattery. I remember her face. Where's Timo? Let's look for him together. Maybe he's up the tree chasing the birds. No, I can't see him. Maybe it's in the neat weeds watching the fish. No, no. Let's look some more. Maybe he's on the roadside under the blue plastic bag. There's blood. He's not there. 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 Oh. I feel like this is optional stuff, but even then, it's starting to feel part of the story. The conditions of love. What have you done? I wanted to save you. I want to save us both. You fool. That's right. But I just can't lose you. It's too late. It's never too late as long as we have each other. Oh, Elijah. It's supposed to be like an Oprah thing. The conditions of love. That's what the word almost sounds like. It looks like a simple text, but Ethan has said, oh, there's nothing here. January 11th. The new school's okay. I wish I could make friends with someone though. Mom is working late again. It's fine. I've left it. I bet we have a box when we moved in. Mom couldn't pick it up herself. I'm a big boy now. Big boys aren't afraid of anything. I'll just turn on the lights and watch TV with Timo and my friends. Only the cool stuff of animals, robots, or aliens, but not the creepy kind. It is raining? Sympathized, but Ethan hesitated. It was hard for him to get used to the idea of one of these pop-eyed creatures walking around the apartment. During the day, it would nap in the police. In the night, sneak into the kitchen and play with the shadows that move by themselves. And his eyes would turn into two saucers of black and green liquid if the light reached them. Ancient people believed cats would walk between words and see spirit. Look into Persians, even they hardly believed they could even breathe on their own. And yet, in this, if the hero said from the 21st century, agreed with the Asian people, there was something sinister about them. In any case, he should call the cattery for hope's sake, for the sake of them both, since he had made the decision. Ibsen had already picked up the phone and was about to proceed with the plan when he heard the key turn in the entrance door. Something about that wound him up. It was barely 5 o'clock in the evening, which was in any way very early for him to be back. If everything was fine, that is. Evening closed his laptop and went out to the highway. For a long time he couldn't say a single word, and when he could speak again, he only managed one question. What have you done? Hope's smile faded, and for the first time in the 4.5 or even 5 years they'd been a couple, Ethan was glad of it. In fact, there was nothing surprising about it. With the new haircut and the new hair color, Hope looked unbearably seemingly similar to the creature at the window. Hope's lips turned white, trembling.
This didn't help, did it? Any of it? You can't love me even now, right?
What are you talking about?
Isn't it obvious? I see how you look at me. You're disgusted. You try your best to touch me as little as possible. And no matter what I do, no matter what I try, it doesn't help.
Admit it. You never loved her. You didn't, right, Ethan? She was convenient, and that's about it. Shit makes the flowers grow. Your flowers grew so much, didn't they, Ethan? Didn't they?
Ethan would never hit his wife. More than that, he would never hit a woman, but who spoke to him was neither his wife nor woman. It was a nightmare incarnate that bared its long, sharp teeth and came to take away his wife for a second chance, or so Ethan thought at the time. The punch turned out somewhat pathetic, but you have to take into account the wife being a snuff, fair ground attraction. When you hit your wife properly, a mark does fly up to the highlighted sign, a good one. Although this is only indirectly related to the early Renaissance, Ethan had expertise in the matter, such as old men's fast used to itch often. If there was something like that, he would know. However, if any sign could lie up at the moment, it would say something like, "You're scum, Ethan." No, he kept repeating that even after Hope stormed out of the door in tears. Ethan barely remembered the following few days. Something seemed to be happening. Some people called him. He himself called a lot. He called Hope. Hope wasn't answering the phone. He knew this would happen. Every time he dialed her number, he'd know he'd end up listening to the voicemail signal. It became something of a ritual. He would wake up. Sometimes it was light outside, sometimes dark, but more often it was something gray he neither could nor would want to identify because of the dawn cones. He'd call Hope. Hope wouldn't answer the phone. He would go to the kitchen, turn the water on. Her watch a silvery twisted stream break against the sink for a while. Eventually, he'll put a cup under the stream, fill it to the brim, drink, go to the bathroom, back to the couch. And it's too bad to be true. All of this can't be real. Life can't crumble to pieces in an instant, just collapse inwards like a wooden block towel. Either could remember the name of that game. Once he and Hope went to see. He and Hope. It's too bad. All of this can't be real. He didn't do anything. Couldn't it be that he didn't do anything? He hit Hope. He hit her, and a red spot spread across her cheek. It was too dark to see, but Ethan knew how it goes. How could he do that? What happens now? What can happen now? Those thoughts were like a bunch of needles he tried to swallow over and over. Sometimes he managed to briefly forget about them. It would happen when he woke up in the great timelessness, looked at the dirty white ceiling, and didn't remember who that Ethan Harrison was. But the pain would always come back. He had a bunch of needles in his throat, and no matter how much water he drank, he couldn't get rid of it. How his father shook him up a little, shook him up a bit. Not in the sense he could have done it, grabbing a hold of him, lifting off the ground. His father was a tough man, and despite his age, he could have hit even hard. He was afraid of it, and at the same time, he wanted it to happen. That would make everything easier. Maybe even fix it all. Ethan was going over in his head as he stared at the phone screen displaying the familiar number. He was awfully scared, yet he answered. It turned out Hope had asked her father to pack up for Mr. Miller's voice was flat, maybe even a bit uncertain, and worst of all, he was angry. This plunged Ethan into despair. He couldn't get his redemption like this. However, the upcoming visit forced Ethan to regain his senses. It shot back into reality like a stream of people pushing one into a crowded subway train. He tidied up the place a bit. He shaved. He figured out what to say. Several times he would wash his speech in front of the mirror. And just before Mr. Miller's arrived, Ethan left the keys with the neighbors. Simply put, he fled. Of course, he wanted Mr. Miller's beforehand with a message, but he didn't have time to call. Ethan wanted Mr. Miller's to pick up what he had to and get out as soon as possible. Mr. Miller's wasn't going to help, that's for sure. He wasn't going to help, which meant he simply got between Ethan and his wife. Ethan was angry with Mr. Miller's, like he was the source of all the trouble. Anguish boiled up beside him, mixing with cheap coffee and turning into caustic acid. There was nothing rational about this feeling. Ethan had plenty of time to think about it, to weigh it, to examine it under a magnifying glass. He was sitting in a small cafe on the corner of the street until the streets got dark. He would have stayed there even longer if a waiter had come to his table to tell the place was closing. Ethan nodded absently and asked for a moment to use the bathroom. Again, there was nothing rational about being angry at Mr. Mirrorless, and to be honest, it was pathetic. It's like hating your wife and then running away not to face her father. You're scum, Ethan. Both are scum. Ethan turned off the tap and stared at his reflection in the large mirror. A few drops of water trembling on the tip of his nose and chin. Now that was a proper punch. Sir, I'm sorry, but Sir, are you okay? You have blood oozed from his split lip. Ethan wiped it off with his back of his hand. Yes, I'm fine. Sorry, I didn't mean to keep you. He smiled. The fresh wound got swollen with blood again. A red blood spotted across his face, just as it should. Ethan didn't lie to Riddle. The Secrets of Anatomy. EX1, EX2, EX3, EX4, a white specimen. The screaming man is hiding there. Doctors not so luck criminals. Happy Dreamland. Mary is a lamb, Johnny is a tree, and he was a lay liar, Haja Illa. He really was fine. Maybe not in the same manner as before, but the gears in his head were starting to move again. When they got home, Miss Morris had already left. Turned out that he didn't even take the keys from the neighbors. At first, Ethan assumed Miss Morris could cancel his visit, but as soon as she opened the door, his doubts disappeared. Strong, unfamiliar scent was filling the hallway. It could be Miss Morris' colleague, or maybe the smell of the apartment itself, which Hope's presence faded away. Morris must have taken his daughter's keys. Somehow the possibility never crossed Ethan's mind before. He drew the air in through his nostrils and suddenly felt a sharp and clear us in the dream he had days ago. Something was going to happen. Ethan looked away the empty dark room and reached for the phone. Was he performing the ritual, or was he doing something would go different this time? Short beeps. Even though it was safe to say something was actually already happening, you only had to figure out what and where. Something had changed in the picture, and it's not the Hope's favorite blouse is missing from the closet. If you find a difference, you win. If you find a difference, you know where the girls are taking you. Hallway. Post. Oh, pot, billy bowls on the dresser for a person does. The kitchen. An uneven row of glass shards on the shelf, an empty coffee maker bearing dry blackness at the bottom spoons, forks, and knives, some of them really sharp. A bathroom. A mirror on the wall, and a reflection, the closed doors open. No, not here. What about? Ethan licked the split lip. Yes, that's it. He has to check his email now. Ethan was looking carefully. Seemed like a lot of time has passed. His mailbox was full of various emails, but Ethan barely glanced at the names. He was looking for something special. And what was special about? Say, letters from agents that were gradually becoming more and more concerned. At some point, concern turned into a cold and aggressive. Ethan idly skimmed through the notice of contact information, not what he was looking for. He started with the oldest emails and skimmed the list all the way to the top. Nothing. Maybe he's looking in the wrong place? Maybe there's just nothing to look for? No, Something is happening. No, he has to figure what it will. Even got so close to the accurate intro of these questions that the light of new knowledge could have borne out his eyes. At the top of the list was an untitled letter. Maybe Ethan missed it the first time, or maybe it just wasn't there before. The center was the same wire that Ethan had wanted to help complete free charge. Ethan's lung turned into a deflated pool ball. He clicked on the name of the letter name. Of course, the letter actually had the name. Milk lines carefully add untied to an empty line, just in case you'll loosen it when you type your email, because something got out of that open door in the bathroom mirror. The mail said he couldn't sleep. He was scared, exhausted, and didn't know who he was to ask. Something will get him very soon, if he won't figure anything out. He didn't know if it was related to the work he was doing. He didn't know how to drive away what had said in his house. He only knew what something enormously hungry was looking at him from the darkness. You know what I mean, right? Ethan knew. By the time he finished reading the letter, Ethan nobody knew what he should do. Eesh. Tough decision. But it does, to me, it almost seems like it might be somewhat similar to what he's going through. The question didn't know if he had any relation to the work he was doing. But what about Ethan's work? Could this research shed light on what lay dormant in the dark and awaken it? Was it Ethan's avid curiosity or the question that teased its appetite? Which one was cursed, the chicken or egg? Ethan was angry as hell. He wanted to end it, all of it, once and for all. He wanted to face his fear, even if fear was no longer his own, even if it was crawling through the wires and climbing the communication towers to breathe on its nauseous portion to hell. Ethan was angry, but also terrified. What he wanted to think was that the delicious took root and grew stronger as he tried to deceive himself. It wasn't as incorporeal as the email in his mailbox, yet in the same time as real. If they wanted to face the fear so that it would take shape in a name, a box in which that fear could fit, maybe then he could have dealt with it. However, Ethan got behind the wheel of his old sedan. He wasn't doing it for the rider who was tormented by shadows. He was doing it for himself. An email that Chris described in detail how to find his house and how to get inside. Too much detail, as if he had already resigned to his fate. Something would get to him very soon, and he won't figure anything out. This is just a nose, Miss Harrison, a nose of life determination. This happens when you look into the abyss for too long. But looking is enough, is it? You shine a flashlight into it, those the orange, and whistle frantically, like a window who managed to get into a abandoned house. I'm excited and terrified, and then only terror remains as you realize the door has slammed shut behind you and the handle won't budge. The thought made Ethan speed up, and then just abruptly hit the brakes. The world let out a short, hysterical shriek. The car's roar just stopped on the side of the road. The blood was pounding in his ears. Ethan's breath came in short gasps, his eyes shut from blinding in the dark. After calming down later, Ethan pretended. Who was he trying to fool? The night world was empty. He was examining his navigator, but there was but one thought in his head. What is he doing? What the heck is he doing? Seems like he asked it out loud. There was no one answer. It's not too late to turn back. Turn the car around, go back to the apartment, lie down and show for sleep until the morning comes. In the morning, he would call Hope again, and the door was cut short. Actually, it didn't lead anywhere from the very beginning. At that end, sure it was, he had no place or reason to go back. He wanted to go back to the past, and that task was beyond him or his old Toyota. In the present, he had nothing left but the gray road ahead and the decision to go. If he hurried, he might still be able to help. The car slowly took off. The rest of the way, and there wasn't much left, Ethan was thinking about his acquaintance, or were they friends? Probably. You don't take a crutch for a journey at the bottom of the best of you. Ethan was thinking about his friend. How long had he been awake in particular? It had been, Ethan glanced at his phone and opened a glove box, quite a long time. A month or so, judging by the emails? How long can a person stay awake? The question followed his car silently. Ethan drove into the suburbs and turned the car around on Steppy Road. The 25 miles per hour speed limit road sign at the bend of the road seemed as wide as no bone. Ethan turned down Sycamore Spring. The lawn in front of house 8 was overgrown with tall grass. So tall it hasn't been touched for how long can a person stay awake? Even though it was probably the rainy weather. He didn't remember much of the past week, but he was pretty sure about the rain. Even now, the ground was still damp with spring sheet underfoot. Yes, it must be the rain. Humidity makes grass grow faster. When he got out of the car, his shadow detached from the trees near the house. Ethan suffered and eased a moment later. The figure quickly walked away along the narrow concrete path, just a passerby. Ethan watched him go. The concrete beneath his boots gave way to gravel. Ethan walked past the spawn hemlock covered with roses of small white flowers. The bush reached up mid-eye. All the windows were dim, no light anywhere. The house stood a little off, dark, quiet, still as the night itself, almost like the house was shimmering along its house. For a moment, Ethan felt stupid and was about to turn back the car, but he stayed after all. He was invited. No, not that. He was called for help. Maybe he and his friend got a little too stressed, that's all. Induced delusion of the shoulder in all its glory. Maybe Ethan was desperate to be needed, so he jumped at the chance to be someone's hero. Perhaps his unfortunate friend had finally fallen asleep, and disturbing him was a bad decision of all. Well, Ethan was fine with that. He just wanted to make sure that it was okay. Ethan formally knocked on the door. No one answered. Neither time nor dirt. I don't skip.